Hi, welcome to ElToro.IT. I want to start this week with a new series of videos teaching you and teaching Siri Lightning components. You see, last week I was working on my blog, ElToro.IT, and I was making some tests on the iPhone when Siri interrupted me. She had never executed Lightning components, and she was very curious as to how this Salesforce technology worked because it's pretty new. So I promised to teach her. And then I decided I should better record these videos and post it so that you guys can also enjoy them.
Hi guys, I am really excited about learning this lightning components that ElToro.IT has been building. It looks very cool.
So today we're going to start building a very basic application, an example of a Hello World. Next session we'll talk about variables or attributes. Then we'll talk about how to style them with a CSS, how do you run JavaScript, how to connect to a Salesforce server for data using Apex, and we'll talk about more advanced topics as the sessions come along.
Enough introductions. Can we get started please? I am dying to understand lightning components.
Siri, I just checked your battery and you have 95%. You're not dying.
It's an expression.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm gonna switch to Chrome where I have already logged into Salesforce and I have opened the developer console. I'm now going to go into File, New, Lightning Application.
Toro, are you teaching about lightning components?
Yes, Siri, I'm talking about Lightning components. Please don't interrupt me. I'm trying to record a video so that people can watch and learn as well. Sorry, guys. Siri. Anyways, back to the application
But
we're
I'm
building.
confused. I thought you were teaching lightning components, and you start by creating an application. I don't get it.
Oh, sorry. Great question. And I'm glad you asked, Siri. Well, you see, with Lightning components, you can create applications or you can create components. And there's actually not a lot of difference on the code that you have to write for either one of those. The difference is how you're going to surface it. Basically, how you're going to let your users execute the code that you are working with. We're going to start with an application which will create or a component bundle that is going to be available through the URL. Now, if you were working with a Salesforce One or Lightning application, you can start working with a component. You don't need an application. If you're going to be working with, for example, Lightning Out, you do require applications. But we'll talk about later how you surface them. For now, Siri, let me ask you a question. What is the very first example that you will see in any computer book?
When developers start learning to program for the iPhone, they typically start with the HelloWorld application.
Exactly, and we're not going to be any different here. So I'm going to create on the Lightning application, and for the bundle, I'm going to give it a name. We're going to call this Hello World, and we click Submit. When you create an application, or for that matter, when you create any bundle on the developer console, you get two tabs. The first tab, it's actually the bundle itself. It's like a folder. And then the application is a file in that folder. We can close the folder and keep working with the file here. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna type P hello world. Now that folder and the file that I was talking about, it's visible or is represented here on the right side menu. You'll see this is the file that I'm working with. It's the application. This is called a bundle. A bundle will have application, will have controller, helper, all that stuff. Right now I only have one single file, which is the application. But you notice the button on top of that. If I click on that button, a new tab opens Give it a second or two. Oh, and you see nothing here. It's because I forgot to save it. So this star here, star means this file has not been saved. I can go File, Save, or I can do Control S. When I do that, notice that this tab automatically refreshes and it shows me the application I'm working with. All right, good. Now, Siri, what do you think would happen if rather than creating a component, rather than creating an application, I create a component?
I'm not sure.
Well, let's try it out. I'm gonna create file, new component. Let's call this component, so it's a different name, and then we're gonna click on submit. Again, it creates a folder and the file. We can go ahead and close the folder. We have two things here. We now have an application and we have a component. And I'm gonna paste in here. Um, I'm gonna type in here. Oh gosh, I'm gonna do hello world from component. I'm gonna save that. Okay.
Where's the preview button? Never mind. This is a component. Okay, but how do we execute components?
Great question, Siri. Again, I'm glad you asked. Well, one option is to include the component that we just created inside our application. I'm gonna do C colon hello world component. We close that. If I save that, this tab refreshes and you'll see that we have a hello world from the application and we have a hello world from the component. So we created a application that includes a component, and this is the code for the component. Notice that the bundle pretty much looks the same except for the first line. Here it says application and here it says component. But regardless of the application component, the very first file you see in here is the markup that you're going to be writing.
Okay, I get it. So we always need to have an application, right?
Well, not really. It really depends on how you're going to surface. You may sometimes need an application, you may sometimes need a component, but we'll definitely talk about that in a later session. For now, our time's up. We're gonna post another video very soon with a part 2 of this session, and then we go into talking about CSS and JavaScript and more advanced topics as we progress through the training. Thanks for watching, and feel free to come back to ElToro.IT anytime you have any question. Thank you.